What is going on, dumb meat pack around the world, Salami squad? What is going on? We got our boy, Jimmy, John, Jan in the cut, about to talk about some NHL action. Okay, all right. So, I mean, honestly, got to be the worst league to watch. I mean, like a hockey game's hype. Like I've been to like some B League type games, whatever, like the Binghamton Rumble Ponies or whatnot. That might be baseball, might be tripping. But you know, you go to a hockey game, it's a fun time. But for some reason, I don't think I actually ever sat down and watched a hockey game on the television.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely an acquired taste for sure. I mean, it's like one of those things where if like you played it as a kid, I'm sure you're really gonna enjoy it more.
Hockey's definitely fun to play. I'll give you that.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. I never played like ice hockey, but I played like street hockey with the boys, and it's also
oh yeah.
You understand the mechanics of it. Like you see a huge hit, it gets crazy, and like there's so many moving parts and so many intricate details. But once you follow a team and get into it, it's like a drug, man. You fucking get hooked.
Okay, hell yeah. So wait, I know there's been some movement going on into this 2021 season, all because of like COVID and such. I know they had to rename and move around a bunch of divisions. So like, what's going on with that? I saw like the North, South, East, West, like all the divisions now. It's all like much more localized, so you're like closer to the teams you play, and they all got a brand now, dude. Is the NHL like broke as fuck? Like, what's up?
Man, it's there's some shit going on. So what they did is like what you said earlier. It's like it's localized to where you are geographically, and with the COVID restrictions going into Canada, the Canadian teams are going to stay in Canada. So that's Ottawa, Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto. Edmonton,
that's crazy. It's like a whole Canadian league up there.
Yeah, but the thing is low key those teams are ass. Like there might be one or two playoff contenders, maybe Toronto. In Edmonton, kind of, because you can't really count out Connor McDavid. He's like the poster boy for the NHL at this point.
Toronto's got some young studs on it, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really high on McDavid, low key, because I feel like he really relies on his speed instead of his shot. It's kind of like a Ben Simmons type deal, where it's like he drives really freaking well, but McDavid doesn't play defense. He doesn't have a good shot, so he's kind of one dimensional in a way. Granted, though, it's like when he can score, he can score. But besides that, the Canadian division, there's not really many contenders. Honestly, Flyers bias here, but our division is the strongest, and I think that the Flyers have a really good chance to get it on top. We have the Capitals, who are always solid. The Rangers, who landed the #1 pick this year in the draft, Alexei Lafreniere. He's a beast. What the fuck the Canadians say? Lafreniere or whatever. The Devils might be good, possibly, if Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes step up their game. But the Hurricanes are a fucking monster team.
Didn't Tampa win it last year? Didn't they win the cup?
Yep, Tampa won it. And they look as fast and strong as ever. They lost their #1 scorer, Kucherov, in the offseason because of a hip injury. But they played Chicago on Wednesday for their banner reveal, and they look fantastic, absolutely fantastic. The divisions are separated, I think, pretty equally, but like the East is definitely there's going to be a contender coming out of the East for sure.
So definitely a little bit stacked on that side from what you're saying. How be honest, be brutally honest here. How them Flyers looking?
Okay, so first game, they play the Penguins, and fucking love that rivalry. One of the best in sports, in any sport of all time. It's just a classic, hard-hitting. They hit each other. You can feel the heat, especially when you go to the games. You can see the fans get into rumbles and shit. But so that first game, so they didn't have any exhibition games. So it's coming out rusty, right? They win the game 6-3, but before they broke out and before they scored the last 3 goals, it was Flyers score, Penguins come back, Flyers score, Penguins come back, Flyers score. So it's 3-3. So they looked that was not a dominant game. They did not look clean. They did not look like they've been practicing for 2 months, but they should have been, but they haven't because the corona restrictions and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they have depth. They have extremely elite top 6 forward lines, and not to mention Carter Hart, my favorite player of all time at this point. He's my homeboy. I can't wait to see him beat the Martin Brodeur best goalie of all time record with 651 wins. They're calling him the next Carey Price, and that's the Montreal Canadiens goalie, and he's been a solid rock for that team for 10 plus years. When he plays well, they win. When he doesn't play well, they lose. So it's like, and we have that kid that you can pay compared to Carey Price. I'm so excited to see him grow.
That's hype, dude. You're getting me all hyped to like talk about hockey here, but just being like a little bit more unfamiliar with the sport and such, and with this being like, we saw this with all the major leagues. They really just didn't get an off season or like a training camp per se. What's like a common injury that you see from dudes in hockey, and do you think dudes are like more prone?
Their jaws busted, dude. They have
more prone.
For sure. A lot of the time, I remember Derek Stepan back in, I think it was 2016, the Rangers, when they went to the finals against the Kings. He broke his jaw like I think in December. And so what he did is they put a glass face cage over this dude, and he went out there and he dominated. I hate that, man. I hate Stepan. He's a Flyers killer, man. Now he's in the Coyotes, and he's still pretty good for an older guy. But like I said earlier with Kucherov, he hurt his hip. I'm assuming because like the hip flexor is when you make a cut in the ice and you got to spin, you got to get those tight cuts, and if you're not,
dude, boys are sharp out there.
If you're not prepared, that's like your hips are going to just go and cut themselves up. Like you said earlier, it's like a lot of facial injuries because this puck, I'll show you right here. This thing right here, this is vulcanized rubber. So this thing
vulcanized.
And they freeze this, John, before they put it on the ice. So this thing is like probably a little less than a pound, but this thing's frozen. This thing comes out, hits you in the face. That thing is gonna wreck your jaw, dude. Your teeth are gonna fall out.
Give you a new jawline, dude. Teach you how to chew again. You know what I'm saying?
God.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of crazy. Looking forward to this Flyers season here, bro. Next couple games up, who we got? Do you feel confident betting money on the Flyers?
Yeah, I mean, so what they're doing, it's pretty cool. The schedule is every team you play them twice. So we're going to play the Penguins again tonight. Yeah, exactly. And that's tough because it's like a mini playoff series every single game, right? And in hockey especially, well, most sports, but especially in hockey, it's extremely difficult to beat a team twice in a row. That's why when you see a sweep in the playoffs, it's like it's almost like a miracle. Because you learn a team's preferences, you see how well they're playing on the ice, you learn different intricacies of the other team. And so what they're going to have to do is come out strong this next game. They have to really put the fear of God into those bastard Penguins, man. I can't wait. If they come out strong and if they have good solid goaltending, I really think they're going to take this one. I'm not sure the next game is. I think it's against Carolina, which is going to be really tough because like Carolina is like two good players away from becoming a dynasty. Once they start winning, man, the Flyers window is now. They have to win in the next 2 or 3 years. But I feel extremely confident bet on the boys. They have a really good over-under, and they constantly put goals on the board. Even from last year, they were the hottest team going into the playoffs before the Corona shutdown. And I had full confidence that they were maybe not going to win the whole damn thing. I had confidence that they were going to go toward to the finals, but they're a consistent team on offense and they're a lockdown team on defense. So if you want to bet high on the goals above, I'd go for it for sure. Definitely.
I can see that. All right, well, that's something I kind of want to piggyback on, talking about the playoffs and the way the NBA, because the NBA is doing the same thing where, the teams that aren't in their conference that they only play twice a year, they're just playing them back to back to just have everyone kind of in the same spot to make sure coronavirus wise. But and I'll give hockey credit for hockey playoffs are incredible to watch. But I mean, when you're talking 7-game series compared to something like the NFL, that's what I like about basketball for sure is you always know in a 7-game series, like 10 times out of 10, the better team wins because you have 7 games to, if you lose a game to change your game plan up and this and that, if a series is going 7 games, it's just, I always feel like the better team wins in that situation. It's not clear cut and dry, something like football where, it could be a bullshit pass interference call, this and that. You have 7 games to kind of figure out a game plan. So I like that hockey is doing that. Like you said, hockey, you get a 4-0 sweep in hockey. That is a pretty big deal. I know how hard it is to win back-to-back in hockey, just with the aggressive play and all that. One of the things I did want to ask, though, is kind of what's going on with the NBA right now, everything with the coronavirus and whatnot. Hockey as it is, if we're talking NFL, NBA, MLB, MLS, and hockey's probably, one at that bottom 2 as far as just viewage as a whole. So I know they already don't make a lot of money kind of as it is. And like you said, when you first came on, that it's very much a niche, and it's, it's one of those things where if you're a hockey fan, you're probably a diehard hockey fan. You're going to go all in with it. One of my things is just like, I know, like you said, with the sponsors and all that and whatnot, but the NBA is losing money right now. The NHL is losing money right now. What do you think, I guess in a broad general question, I mean, what are some things you think the NHL could do to either A, reach out possibly to a bigger audience, or, I mean, do you think they're just kind of fine where they're at? They're good. They have hardcore fan bases and whatnot. You know what I mean? Yeah, no,
that's actually an excellent question. So the problem a lot with hockey and their viewership is that you can only watch the games of teams in your area. Like, unless it's a nationally broadcast game, like on Wednesday night, they have it's called Hockey Night in America, like Wednesday night rivalries, where you can like look at different teams. But for the most part, I can't watch the Coyotes. I can't watch the Canadian teams. I can't even watch Florida. And so what I think they need to do is start nationally broadcasting these games. Because if you want to get a broader audience, like there's fucking 28 people in Buffalo, you're going to be watching the Sabres game, but they're an up and coming team. If you want to get some new fans who don't want to jump on the bandwagon of a Tampa Bay team or like a Philly team or like a New York team, broadcast those Buffalo games, broadcast more of the Western game, broadcast a Minnesota game nationally. Because even though it might not be a super exciting game, there's a chance that it could be. But you want to get exposure. That's the thing, is you want to get exposure for these teams, because you can't just watch it your own. What if I moved to whatever Nashville and I hate the Predators? I'm a Flyers fan. I have to stream the games. I'd rather pay for premium services to get the live stream and actually watch the boys play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you gotta expose people to the game.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
Sure. But, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up, suckers. Wrap it up, put a seal on it. This has been some NHL talk, dude.
We got more coming, son.
Will the Flyers win it all? Huh? Maybe?
Blackhawk.
I put money on it.
All right. Peace.
All right, guys. Peace out.